Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Lens Productions. This is DJ coming at you with another video. Now, I try to stay away from political issues on this channel unless it has some kind of bearing on an automotive issue because you guys come here for automotive content, so that's what I endeavor to bring to you. Now, this one here is one of those examples where the political aspect and the automotive aspect kind of cross over. So, anyhow, bear with me. This is about the Chevron Deference Ruling. It is a 114-page document, and it encompasses a lot of different areas in American government, and one of the most important being the EPA, which, of course, as you know, has a large bearing on the automotive industry and the cars we drive and so forth. Now, why did they all of a sudden decide to turn this ruling down after almost 40 years? Well, the Supreme Court was basically seeing that in recent years, the different political parties had been using this to their own benefit. And basically, the Chevron Deference Ruling gave governments the power to interpret ambiguous laws and such as they see fit. So now that this has been struck down, this is going to be a huge win for the American consumers and Americans in general, as the EPA standards can now be challenged and they just can't ram this down your throat. Here you go. You're going to do this. You're going to buy this kind of car, so on and so forth, because now this is going to be left up to the Supreme Court. Now, if you go back to the 1960s and 70s, this sort of thing, it did have its time and place. I mean, you go back to this time period, I mean, where a lot of the streams and rivers were, you basically couldn't see in them because of the pollution, and kind of corporations were allowed to pollute however they wanted to. There were really no regulations put on them. Kind of basically the same as what China is today. So, in some of the cities, particularly California, you couldn't see some of them for all the smog. So a ruling legislation needed to come into play in order to force companies to be accountable and not uh, recklessly destroy the environment that we live in. Now, don't misinterpret what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that anybody should be able to pollute endlessly, needlessly, and destroy the environment that we live in. However, I do believe that a lot of the stuff that we've been seeing in recent years, it has gone a little bit too far. They basically trying to erode democracy and trying to make you do what they want you to do. So basically, they've taken away the sea powers and put it in the hands of the court. Some of us have noticed in recent years the automotive industry has seen a switch, and we are not necessarily seeing the kind of cars we want to drive. You are seeing the kind of cars that the government wants you to drive. They want to put controls on you. And I mean, we've seen this in other areas of our lives in the last 3 or 4 years. I won't mention any instances. I don't want to get flagged on YouTube for this. But the government has been testing us to see how much and how much they could control us and how far they could push us. So I think this is also an extension of that. So, seen in the car industry, we've seen a lot of very boring cars coming out there, and governments giving huge incentives to car companies to build a certain type of car so that they can force us to buy that certain type of car. We've recently been seeing a lot of this falling apart before our eyes. There's been a lot of pullback from various car companies on their electrification journey, we'll say. We've seen Ford recently in an Ontario plant. They had big plans. They're going to make this whole plant electric cars. This is going to be great. We're going to build all these and people are going to buy them. Well, guess what? People aren't buying them. Ford cannot give away their Ford Lightning pickup trucks, nor most of their other vehicles that they're trying to convince us that we should be buying. They pulled back on their plans for that factory, and now they're building a high displacement 3/4 and 1 ton Super Duty pickup trucks. There was another GM plant in Ontario that was supposed to start building electric motors as of next year, I believe, as it was. And now they pushed back on those plans. Now they weren't exclusively producing electric motors; they're also going to produce some, on lines next to the gasoline-powered engines. But now they're pulling back on that as well. And you look at the numbers; the numbers just don't make sense. The companies are losing millions and millions of dollars from the government trying to push product on the consumer that the consumer isn't interested in buying. So this ruling here is going to help pull back on that and put more of an emphasis on product that people actually want to buy. There are much better options out there. And anybody with any kind of a business experience will know that when the government gets involved in business, it's not generally a good thing because they act like they know a lot more about business than what they really do. So, anyhow, I just wanted to kind of make that quick little video for you. I'm starting to do a little bit more current news commentary, kind of giving my opinion on some of the stuff. And let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of content. So, anyhow, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.